And we're live. Great. So, today, for a change, I'm going to kind of be doing the introduction and welcome. Uh, for people who are kind of listening to us for the first time, welcoming you to Small Talks. For people who are repeat, they already know our concept and what we're trying to do. Um, Small talk is a medium where we simply want to talk with people from the industry and understand how they were able to make it in their life and just make it simpler, easier route for people to learn from their skill sets. With this, we have Ritvish today, who is also a very old friend, also one of my close friends' husband. So we have a long history. But at the same time, Ritwij has been able to make an amazing career for himself in the hospitality and restaurant space as far as supply chain management is concerned. So we're super excited to have you, Ritwij, today. And,
Same
we
here,
would want you
Krishna.
to, yeah, and we would want you to quickly, help our audience understand what you've been doing so far. And then let's move forward with that.
Well, first of all, Krishna, thank you for inviting me to this. We go long back, I think since 2012, 11. That's a
Yeah,
long time. When I
yeah,
met my current wife. Anyways,
yeah.
so just to go back to the point, I started my career while I was studying actually. Due to family reasons, I had to step in and I started my first job in a warehousing company called Global Shipping Logistics. There I was into the customer service domain. From there, I moved. It was a by chance luck at a party. I met a
Hmm,
CEO of a company, and he was
hmm,
quite impressed with the magnitude of things I was doing. So he offered me
hmm.
a job in Supermax.
Nice.
There I was a global operations executive.
Hmm,
I was doing quite a bit of task there. So I was managing in the evenings, I was managing Mexico, US.
hmm.
Then 1 o'clock in the morning, I was managing Australia. 7 o'clock in the
Wow.
morning, Bangladesh. And then the whole day was India. So I was
And were you
really quite.
sleeping?
No, I was going home, but I mean, you would work from anywhere for that
Hmm,
moment.
hmm,
So
hmm,
you would have to have calls, etc. So you were on and off, switching on
hmm,
and off.
hmm,
Then from there, I switched to a. I wanted a different challenge because it was getting quite stretched out.
hmm,
So
hmm,
I joined a small company called Napdrinks. Was a very small
hmm,
stint, maybe 6 months.
hmm,
We were going through some medical issues that time, so I had to stop
hmm,
working.
hmm,
Then I went to a company called Al Khayat. I think this
hmm,
company was life changing for me because till then I was only doing supply chain, warehousing,
hmm,
logistics,
hmm,
etc.
hmm,
In Al Khayat, I was reporting to pretty much three bosses. I was reporting for Iraq to the
hmm,
COO. I was
hmm,
reporting to the supply chain director, and then I was reporting to the head of food service or HORECA department.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
And then came a point wherein again it started to stretch, and my supply chain
hmm,
boss said, "You have to pick
hmm,
today. You either
hmm,
stay in the supply chain domain or you
hmm.
move to food service."
Ah.
And the story started back then, 2017, I think, wherein I
Hmm,
completely switched gears from supply chain. I moved to business
hmm,
development because I think I was
hmm,
enjoying it.
hmm.
There, I started business development. I was managing Lavazza Coffee for almost five
Ah.
and a half years.
Hmm,
We grew three times in that span when I was managing that business.
hmm,
Then, 2019, there came an opportunity from my current company where they wanted someone to lead the organization to change. And
hmm,
it was funny. I mean, how my CEO hired me first, I was offered an export manager role,
ah.
completely different from what I was used to doing.
Hmm,
Then export went into commercial, commercial went into general
yeah.
manager position. Then in the span now, I have opened six different ventures for them. So I'm
Amazing.
managing six companies, different domains completely. So
Hmm,
we have the main company is distribution,
hmm,
which is Lamakis International. Then we have
hmm,
an after sales company for equipment maintenances
hmm,
and
hmm,
services. We have our own manufacturing for ice cream and chocolates.
hmm,
Uh, then we have our own coffee roastery.
hmm,
And then we have another line of business wherein we have now ventured into coffee shops.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
it's quite a big uh, across the board right now. So that's about it. That's what my journey has been so far. I took longer than a minute. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. I hope you guys can hear me.
Sorry.
Am I audible? I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now where is Krishna? I
Now
think
we are
there are
missing
days,
Krishna.
okay, कि something has to happen
It
and it will
happens. This
not
is
go.
normal. That's normal. That's part of online world.
Yeah.
Sometimes I purposely mute out because I don't want to be a part of the call. So it's
Cool. So, so just to kind of add to what you were saying, like Rutvij, so you've actually had depth for a certain period in your career, and then you've just gone horizontal in the business language, right? You're doing multiple things together. So that
yeah.
kind of is just commendable. Before we move on to the section where we want to explore how you figured this out, we are just going to move to a chiller section of small talks. We call it Jalify. We're going to ask you five straight easy questions, and you get 30 seconds each to answer whatever comes first to your mind. Works?
Okay. Fine.
Cool. So let's get started. What's your all-time favorite cartoon?
Popoy, SWAT cats. Cannot choose.
One,
Popoy.
one. Popeye.
Popoy.
Cool. The next one, Pani Puri or Vada Pav?
Vada pav. All day, all long. Vada pav.
The wedding also had batata vadas, if I remember
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Cool.
I cannot get rid of it.
I can see that. With which I can just see
Yeah.
that. Cool. Now the next one, Dubai or India?
India always. It will be India always.
Oh, I thought you were going
Yes,
to tell me
Dubai.
Dubai with that long pause.
No, no, no. It's a difficult one. I mean, Dubai is what giving me the growth scale, etc.,
Hmm.
etc. But India is the
Heart is
roots.
in
I mean,
India. Yeah.
heart is in India. Yes, yes. At any
Yeah.
given point of time,
Okay. Are you a travel person or you like staying more at home?
travel. Like I cannot stay no. I cannot just stay no outside all the time.
So for the audience, Ritvij, for his role also travels a lot. So I think he's resonating to what he likes doing. So that's helping him do better. Now the last one for this section, cricket for football.
None.
You don't have no option. You have to choose one.
Okay, more football. Football.
Okay, fair. So with this, we've kind of come to the end of Jaldify, and let's move on into deep diving into questions which have got you to where we are today. Jay, you want to take the first one?
Yeah, I think just before that, I don't know if you guys already discussed, but how are things in Dubai now? Is it like getting better or the things are just all over the place, Abibi?
With regards to the floods or in general?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
the rain and
right.
floods.
Okay, floods. I think the Dubai government has been quite responsive. Uh, I would say
Mhm.
70% of the things are normal, but still
Hmm.
there are pockets around that are suffering and they have not been able to access and support.
Hmm.
But the mainstream business is back to life today. Still, Sharjah and exterior parts are suffering.
Oh,
Okay.
But that was unexpected. I mean, you had 5 months of rain in one day. So any government whatsoever,
yeah.
country and infrastructure, you
Can't be
cannot cope up with
prepared.
that.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
just wondering about the tourists who must have come there, Rutvij, right? They must be stuck so badly, and Dubai government relies so heavily on tourism. I think that must have just really hit bad. Like, just imagine keeping a restaurant closed for one day in a city like Dubai. What insane amount of money that restaurant must have burned to keep it closed for a day.
I mean, yes, that is one. But if you see across the videos, there are a lot of ground touch restaurants in Dubai, and there are
Hmm.
restaurants that have been flooded. I mean,
Uh,
leave alone the loss of one day, there are restaurants that have gone out of business and they have
hmm.
millions at stake, and I don't see them recovering
My God.
because these insurances, etc., are not
Hmm.
always covered, and it's a very bureaucratic thing to get
Hmm.
your money out of these insurance companies. So, uh,
Oh.
I for the tourist, I think the government has taken quite a bit of measures. The
Hmm.
hotels are quite responsive and all that.
Hmm.
But yeah, as I think
But that experience
every
for the tourist, of course, will not be good, right? Because they come there to be like, see Dubai bling, and now they're seeing Dubai flood. So,
yeah, I
definitely.
mean they have to be a part of it. What to do?
Yeah.
You sometimes see the good side of it. You sometimes see the bad side
Yeah.
of it.
No, but I think it's the
Uh,
first time Dubai is kind of witnessing something like this. I've never seen Dubai news for something like this ever
yeah, I
to
mean the
this
world is
extent.
paying the price. Everyone is
Hmm.
trying. I think climate change is pretty much
Yeah.
around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Global
everyone has
warming.
been, yeah, global warming. We've
Yeah.
been not paying our debt to the nature back, etc. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a
True.
circle. Life is a
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, but Ritwik, just to add to this, right? Just the other day we were kind of speaking internally in our office, and we were just discussing that, right? Sustainability is the future. If you're not thinking sustainability, then your organization is not going to survive. Be in any industry, you have to think of how the world is going to be more sustainable. I think that's going to be majorly trending in the coming years.
It is. I mean, on that aspect, Dubai government is very, very aggressive on sustainability part of it.
Hmm.
A lot of, let's say, single-use plastics have been banned.
Hmm.
The plastics that
Hmm.
are allowed are only reusable plastics.
Hmm.
Even in HORECA industry, now the hotels have taken an initiative. There are no plastic straws
Hmm.
allowed. There are
Hmm.
only paper
Yeah.
straws allowed.
Yeah.
You're going to tea, for example, tea is now only allowed in recyclable packaging. No plastic
Uh,
bag
hmm.
packaging is
Hmm.
allowed.
Hmm.
So sustainability is at the forefront of everything, I would say. For
Hmm.
example, there is one chain of hotels called Jebel Ali Group of Hotels. They
Hmm.
have completely gone away from plastic bottles. So they have
Okay.
invested in a filtration plant,
Hmm.
and they are doing fresh filtered glass bottled water back
Hmm.
to the staff or the guests staying in the hotel.
Hmm.
So there
Hmm.
are multiple
Yeah,
avenues
I've
that
seen this trend at
sustainability is.
multiple hotels in these days. Like
Yeah,
even in
yeah,
India, like when I am traveling, I've seen a lot of hotels adopting the same logic where they've stopped using plastic bottle. But I think that's a great initiative.
yeah. And even the government is pushing a lot. I mean, now there is a rule coming in wherein at the restaurants you would not be allowed to serve or sell water bottle. You would need to
Hmm.
use tap water to serve your
Ah.
guests,
Yeah.
and that has
Yeah.
to be filtered to the highest standard
Hmm.
quality, etc.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there is a lot that's happening around sustainability, I would say.
Hmm. Fair enough. But I think,
Right.
as far as India is concerned, we're still a long way to go as far as sustainability is concerned. Like today, also, when I go to buy vegetables, I see insane amount of one-time use plastic bags still being, used everywhere. Like whenever you see a dump yard, you see like insane amount of plastic. I'm just waiting for so many years for some innovation to come and replace plastic. I know that it's a very difficult process, assuming our entire packaging industry depends on it. But that's where
Yeah,
innovation comes in place, right? I'm just waiting for that innovation desperately. Like, nor are we just hurting ourselves and the earth, but we're also hurting animals in this process. So, matlab, I think
yeah.
it's just all over the
Everyone across
place.
the cycle. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
everyone across the cycle.
yeah. But I
One
think,
second.
yeah,
I think so.
that's part and
Since
parcel.
we are on the innovation front, I have a like we'll just start with this question itself. That how is tech coming into the play, right, in the entire
Hmm.
innovation across the HORECA. So if you can maybe
Hmm.
give us few examples how tech is being leveraged right now.
So tech is playing, I mean, it is playing on multiple fronts. How specifically to Horeca is is a difficult one to answer actually. Okay, let me think around it. Can you go back to your question so I frame it right?
Yeah. So in terms of innovation, right? So innovation generally accelerate to the technology. So what are some areas or places where tech has been being the catalyst to the entire innovation? So that can be around sustainability part of it, or just making things more efficient in the HORECA overall.
Okay, so if you go to that aspect, recently at Museum of the Future, so coffee space is one of the most booming spaces that is available. So there are AI
Mhm.
robots that are coming into this space. So you have self-service stations wherein you don't need a guy, you don't need a barista, you don't need anyone. There's a robot arm that
Hmm.
is really
Yeah.
taking the coffee to doing the latte
Hmm.
art
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
taking your orders and everything. I
Hmm.
think tech there is going across the chain. You see a lot of convenience stores concepts now because people are so much in lack of time that
Hmm.
everything and everyone wants to have things on the go, grab and go.
Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
would have dispensers with fresh orange juicers,
Hmm.
and you would tap your Apple Pay and pick up a fresh orange juice
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
a metro
Hmm.
station.
Hmm.
You then go across to, let's say, you want to have a snack, you want to have something else. In Japan, tech is very highly involved in terms
Hmm.
of food, is cross playing with food a lot. You're
Hmm.
going to soups now, you're going to pasta, noodles being done on vending machines, or you say super automatic machines. So I
Hmm.
think technology there is overlapping a lot in terms of consistent, error free, fast food,
Hmm.
but it also has its own disadvantages when it comes to that. But is helping people cope up with their fast paced life, I would say.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. Hmm.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
So, because you're on the topic of how tech is innovating, like you gave us a what do you say example of robots taking orders, then automation for dispensers, like in grocery stores, you tap and take the material out fast. So, just in continuation to this, what I wanted to understand is because you've been working with all different types of what do you say segments in Horeca as well, right? Could you
Yeah.
help us and the audience understand what is the major difference between the operations of, like, say, a QSR outlet and like a restaurant, like quick service outlet and a restaurant? What is the major difference from the operational angle or from the supply chain angle? You could choose any.
So it is quite different. So first of all, when you go to a restaurant, or how you would differentiate a QSR to a restaurant is, QSR is very highly efficiently planned in terms of the workflow. I don't
Hmm.
know if you have seen the movie on Netflix, Founder. So Founder
Yeah.
is
Huh.
around
Yep.
McDonald's, how he drew on the basketball court, the flow of the uh, workflow, etc.
Hmm.
There, QSR has a very set menu. It has very
Yeah.
limited ingredients that
Yeah.
go into the play. So if you
Hmm.
look at any QSR, you don't have a lot of add-ons. You have very set standard fries.
Hmm.
You have a
Hmm.
variation on them with salt, spice,
Hmm.
etc.
Hmm.
Then you have burger. You would have either chicken. You would have same patty with a different
Yeah.
dressing.
Hmm.
So it is
Yeah.
pretty much standardization, and only
Hmm.
variation is on the sauces, on the
Hmm.
dressings, on the ketchup, or
Hmm.
the fillings.
Hmm.
Whereas on a restaurant is going more on made to demand order kind of a thing, wherein your
Hmm.
details of requests are taken.
Hmm.
If you would want to add something, exclude something, the ingredients there are more fresh.
Hmm.
QSR is the supply chain is 90% frozen, so to
Hmm.
maintain your patties to that taste and consistency. So here is a frozen supply chain, here is a fresh supply chain,
Hmm.
here is a very standard set operation. Here you can have variation.
Hmm.
Here is there is no customer experience. You have a customer experience at a restaurant, so you're being looked after. You have a dining sit in.
Hmm.
QSR is mostly takeaway. Restaurant is mostly dine in with a nice view, with a nice
Hmm.
music,
Hmm. Hmm.
etc. So it really depends on your choice of necessity.
Hmm.
But QSR is pretty much more robust and more, I would say, like a streamlined flow of work.
Hmm.
It's a machine. QSR is a machine. So you
Hmm.
go there, you want a McDonald's ice cream, you tuck tuck tuck. There's a machine set for that. There is a set recipe. So
Hmm.
it is error free, but you enjoy the same taste across.
Yeah.
That may not happen at a restaurant. So at a
True.
restaurant,
Every
if the
time the
chef,
taste can
if
differ. Yeah.
yes, and if the restaurant is in a bad, chef is in a bad mood, you might end up having a bad meal.
Yeah.
Possible, very
True.
very high probability of that happening.
True.
But again, they do take care in person as well to fix issues.
Hmm.
And
Hmm. Yeah. Now, because you mentioned this point, Jay, let me take this one, Jay, and then you take the next one. Because you mentioned the chefs being in wrong mood, because I've also been in hospitality for a long time. I've seen a QSR, I've
yeah,
seen a restaurant, so I can totally relate to what you said. So, my next question is actually a continuation of this only, right? This industry is dominated by blue collared team members, and one thing which I have witnessed firsthand is it's very difficult as a leader to maintain this quorum. So I want to understand that how have you done it, right? Today you're sitting at a general manager position. So that means you're also day in, day out, directly or indirectly dealing with a lot of blue collared workers. Is there some, trick which you figured out, or is there like, just like some few tips which you have that have helped you manage these people better?
well, frankly, when I started off, and I would say till 2 years back,
Hmm.
managing people was a very, very difficult task for me. I would end
Hmm.
up actually doing their job on their behalf just to not have that confrontation
Hmm.
issue, etc. But I
Hmm.
learned my way around. So I would say there is a balance between confrontation and
Hmm.
motivation.
Hmm.
So, whenever people are doing something wrong, it's not that you have
Hmm.
to be absolutely rude. You have to
Hmm.
confront them with that issue. You have to highlight to them what has happened and what is not acceptable. And at the
Hmm.
same time, when they do something right, you have to also
Hmm.
keep motivating them to keep the
Hmm.
balance. So, I
Hmm.
think for me, what works is confrontation and motivation. I would say more of motivation than to avoid the confrontation.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
try to do the other way around. So I try
Hmm.
to keep them relaxed and motivated that they're doing the right thing.
Hmm.
On and off, I do personally myself involve in conversations if anything is
Hmm.
right or wrong. By
Hmm.
now, I can read body language if someone is going through some difficult patch or is not in the right mood. So a small conversation with them on this level really eases them out, that someone at
Hmm.
general manager level is coming down and talking to me.
Hmm.
So I think communication is also one thing that has helped. But I would say a balance of confrontation and motivation is
Hmm.
key
The key.
to handling this class
Hmm.
of people.
Also, do you feel, Ritvish, adding personal touch to this somehow helps? Like, that is something which I saw working in the sector across. Like, I've worked with blue collared people not only in hospitality but also in a different B2B setup. So, what I also saw is that when you would relate with them one on one and give them that personal connect wherein they feel that the
It
manager
works.
is looking after them, it just worked wonders in my case.
It works. It works a lot. There is just one downside I see to that is maybe how I communicate is
Hmm.
then I become too approachable,
Ah.
and that becomes a problem that
Hmm.
when you are talking too openly and too friendly with them, they feel
Ah.
that they can always reach out at, and then you have 100 people coming back to you on a daily basis that
Ah.
मेरे घर में ये हो गया and this happened and
Hmm.
I have
Hmm.
this issue. Maybe sometimes you help them with money or you help them
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
some guidance, etc. And they
Hmm.
start keep coming back to you. So kind
Hmm.
of drawing that line also becomes important after some time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
True.
it's a mix. I mean, you have to really pick who you want to have that conversation with and
Hmm.
who keeps it to there. I mean, that conversation should end there and it should
Hmm.
not be taken
Hmm.
as granted.
Yeah. Also, this is one such industry, Ritwij, where you see the highest level of loyalty. You'll see chefs retiring in the same hotel where they started working first. That's not very true for other sectors. So, what are the, like, say, hotels or restaurants doing well for, say, like a chef or a steward who started as a steward is retiring like a restaurant manager? What are they doing right for these people to stick around?
Well, the industry is quite competitive here and is also the comfort of work and space.
Hmm.
When it comes to, let's say, senior chefs, etc., when they
Hmm.
start off and they create their own recipes, etc., there is a lot of attachment when they say, we've done this scratch down up.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there is one thing that when you have your baby every day in the kitchen being made,
Hmm.
or food being made for that matter here,
Hmm.
so you have that attachment that it's my kitchen, it's my food,
Hmm.
and कोई और कर नहीं सकता and no one else can do it like me. So
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
really don't kind of get away with it. And that chance
Wow.
comes after a very long run in that industry where you're a chef.
Hmm.
So you start from a very down level and you go up. So you don't
Hmm.
really want to let it go. So that is one
Hmm.
reason. And second is also, I would say, uh, people in general are reluctant to change. Anyone
Hmm.
in that
Okay.
Hmm.
matter. It takes a lot of guts and risk-taking aptitude for moving jobs. So is
Hmm.
not everyone's cup of tea that
Hmm.
you would shuffle 8, 10, 12 jobs. Except
Hmm.
Gen Z is in tech is quite different because you are quite isolated in tech. You
Hmm.
just have to do your part of it. You don't
Hmm.
have to go manage 10 people below you,
Hmm.
a restaurant owner above you, and then the customer who is eccentric. Or so
Hmm.
you have a lot of physical aspects that change in this industry, which
Hmm.
are difficult to manage with. It's a lot of
Hmm.
stress to cope up with
Hmm.
these changes.
Well said.
Yeah. So I have a very personal question, okay, and this is something I've been hearing from so many years now. So people around me keep saying that when you start a restaurant business, so most of restaurant का दिवाला निकल जाता है, right? So
Mm.
what do you think? What is that reason that it's a very brutal business across the world, not just specific
Yeah.
to Dubai,
Yeah.
but what do you think? What is that reason? What do people get wrong?
Well, this has been a personal question to me as well, though being in the HORECA and supply industry. So we ventured into our coffee shop business 2 years back, which I run called
Okay.
Roastery Station for our company. So it is really finding, first of all, you need to make sure the location is right
Hmm.
for what food you're trying to bring on board. I would say the first and foremost is location.
Hmm.
Second is ambience. Third is the food. Fourth, I would say, is the service and the continuity. So
Hmm.
what really goes wrong is the ratio between your investment appetite to your
Hmm.
dreams.
Hmm.
And
Right.
so what you really start off is, yeah, I will earn 1 lakh rupees a day. I will just put a coffee shop at any nook corner where randomly no one is coming because the
Hmm.
rent is cheap and is affordable. You say, no, 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 my concept is nice. It will work here.
Hmm.
So you're not in the right place at the right time. That is primary mistake number one. So many
Hmm.
of the people
Yeah.
who venture out, they say, yes, I want to start a restaurant, but okay, I'm going to compromise on one. So it's really the compromises that you do during the process define if you will make it or you'll break it.
Hmm.
So it is, you have to be 100% sure about the food. You have to be 100% sure about innovating your food, because let's say you have everything ticked. The first three
Hmm.
months you're on a boomerang, you're going amazing, climbing, 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 climbing. And then there is a stage of stagnation wherein you're not able to take in more tables because there is
Hmm.
a per certain rollover that you can do. Your
Hmm.
expectation is like, nahi, abhi I'm doing 1 CR. How do I do
Hmm.
1.4, 1.5,
Hmm.
1.6?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then either you start franchising out, which
Hmm.
again, if you don't have quality control in place, you don't have
Yeah.
brand standard
You'll
in
fall on
place,
the face.
it's going to be
Hmm.
a roller coaster ride down.
Yeah.
Second, you start compromising on, let's say you start cutting on food. You say,
Hmm.
I'm going to buy a chicken which I was buying for 100 dirhams or 100 rupees.
The
I'm going to
quality of
start
the
buying
chicken.
for
Hmm.
quality of the chicken.
Hmm.
People are getting greedy. Now
Hmm.
they've tasted the fun of it. Now people
Huh.
want more money out of it. Now they are not able
Yeah.
to grow the sales. So
Hmm.
either you innovate and add food products which
Hmm.
people are accepting, trendy,
Hmm.
etc., or then you cut down on cost to maintain your
Hmm.
profits.
Hmm.
So people are not so long fetched in the dreams.
Hmm.
So restaurant business is not for someone who is short sighted, I would say. You
Yeah,
have to
and not
really
for the
have an appetite.
feeble-hearted. Yeah, it's a
No,
long
no,
haul
not at
game.
all.
Yeah.
Yes, at least, I mean, by the time you realize if you're in the game, it is 5 years.
Yeah. Like
First
in a
two
blink
years
of
is
an eye.
just, yes, first 2 years is just experimenting. Yes,
Hmm.
no, no, yes, testing the waters. If you're
Right.
staying afloat, you're doing a good job. First 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes
And
sense.
that one
So I
point which
think
you
this
mentioned
bring me
about
to
continued so
Sorry.
just a minute, Jay. That one point which you mentioned
huh,
about continued service, right? That there has to be constant same level of service. I think that's very important
100%.
for a restaurant to succeed. That also means that you having the same staff because they'll know your legacy and they'll be able to sell the product better than anybody else.
Yes and no. I would say yes and no because staff also then starts to take it sometimes granted. So
Oh,
you have to really keep motivating, training
hmm.
staff as well, because then
Yeah,
this
that's
you're
part
giving the
of any
entire,
industry. Hmm.
yeah, because then you're giving to this one or two people the entire.
Hmm.
If they are not there, धंधा नहीं चलेगा.
Uh, huh.
That is
Fair.
the, yeah.
Succession planning should be there in this case as well.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fair that the process is set, the dynamics is set. If
Hmm.
anyone comes in new, he knows how to handle. He
Hmm.
manages it in the same way. Those basic principles are not personalized, are
Hmm.
generalized or are standardized. Is
Hmm.
important to keep continuity. When you walk in, the greeting is the same, the hi hello is the same,
Hmm.
order taking is the same. तो वो एक जो
Hmm.
that communication happens between your staff, whoever today
Hmm.
or tomorrow changing,
Hmm.
is the same. That continuity to maintain is your responsibility as the owner of the
Hmm.
shop.
Hmm. Fair. Jay, you were saying something?
so one question I think that you brought up in the last point. So overall supply seems fairly a complex, the mechanism. So can you give us like some idea about how supply chain works in your case, and how is like the entire value chain works in the HORECA?
So, going back to the primary domain that I work into is we are supplying certain brands, equipments, ingredients to restaurants, hotels, cafes, etc. So, what primarily happens is the most important part in this is seasonality. So, there is a season for every particular aspect within supply chain. So, for example, summer is more towards cold drinks, refreshers, etc.
Hmm.
Winters goes more towards hot beverages, hot
Hmm.
chocolate,
Hmm.
etc. Then there is certainly, if you would have to do investments,
Hmm.
you would do it in, let's say, post Eid al-Adha. So you would have September to quarter one. So quarter four and quarter one is where the maximum investments start to come in because people are saying,
Hmm.
profit ban raha hai, we can expand.
Hmm.
So there are multiple dynamics, I would say, but foremost is seasonality. Then is consumer insights. So it is very important to stay connected to consumer insights and consumer trends. For example, whenever a war is breaking out or
Hmm.
something of that sort happens, there's a lot of pullback on consumption. People suddenly
Hmm.
start to, nay, 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 will not spend. There is a crisis, could happen. So you have to
Hmm.
really dynamically react within the supply chain issues. So you need to really forecast and plan well.
Hmm.
When I say consumer insights, it goes more deep into what kind of product is trending, what kind of demand is there in the market. Uh,
Hmm.
if people are going away from a particular trend, because let's say what was moving till yesterday, suddenly there is a new product. Today, Instagram and Facebook is so driving the food industry that
Hmm.
people are getting so tired quickly that
Yeah.
they want to go to the new place and try something new.
Yeah.
And then it
Hmm.
has 10 million views, and then people start eating that because it has 10 million views, not because
Yeah.
it tastes
True.
nice.
Yeah.
But
True.
everyone is fancied about, oh, what is this? So
Yeah.
that is also happening. So dynamics is, I would say, around the supply chain is most important is consumer insights, following the trends, implement it on the seasonality. Those are the primary aspects that drive the supply chain around it.
Hmm.
So if you are in control of these informations in the industry, it will help you plan better.
Hmm.
Right.
Fair
So I
enough.
have two follow-up questions on the same lines. One is that, Krishna, before you go, I just have two quick questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, One is that, social media, as you said, has become a big part of the
Hmm.
entire
Yeah.
industry. So can you talk about few, experiments or like, examples you have seen personally that has worked out in terms of social media distribution?
A lot. I mean, it's not one, it is. So I don't know. So there was this concept that started a year and a half back in Dubai specifically. So as kids, I don't know, Cerelac, if you remember Cerelac.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is
Yeah. We do.
Cerelac?
The baby
Cerelac
food.
is like baby food.
Baby food.
So here, Cerelac is very common because here other things were not available. So Cerelac is very famous. So one of the concepts came up with a concept for Cerelac ice cream. So it
Oh.
was kind of a memory lane down the line that you
No.
are a kid and you're opening a Cerelac box
Hmm.
and you're having
Yeah.
that now in an ice cream. So it really, there was a reel about it on Instagram
Hmm.
which went
Hmm.
viral, and everyone around the town is asking for Cerelac, Cerelac, Cerelac.
Yeah.
For example, second, there was one customer called Salt. They
Hmm.
had this concept of mango. What they did was they peeled out a mango
Hmm.
and they scooped a real soft ice cream mango into the mango itself.
Hmm.
So there's no fruit, but there's a mango ice cream inside it in
Hmm.
a real mango peel.
Hmm.
So that was viral, and literally that year we were flying in containers, flying in of mango just to supply the market.
Nice.
So it goes like a boom. In
Hmm.
between, Starbucks launched Rose Passion Lemonade or something like that. I'm not exactly
Hmm.
remembering the name. And the entire market was behind it. We want the same, 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 same,
Hmm.
etc. So one person likes it, he makes a reel of it. It looks
Huh.
fancy. I don't know how it tastes,
Yeah.
but everyone
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
chasing
Yeah.
around it. So
Hmm.
there is very, very, because everyone is trying to copy and everyone is saying if something is working for
Hmm.
Starbucks, it will work
Hmm.
for them.
Hmm.
For example, if you go across Middle East with the ban of Palestine and Israel, a
Hmm.
lot of these Starbucks, etc., are taking a hit back because no
Hmm.
one is going to them, etc. And Starbucks has an excellent product called White Mocha.
Hmm.
So for them, it's the bestseller product, White Mocha. And the local shop started copying White Mocha. The entire consumer, which was at Starbucks,
Huh.
started to move and
Oh,
capitalize on
Ah.
White Mocha in their
Huh.
concepts.
Hmm.
And everyone is marketing White Mocha. White Mocha is available with us.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
I mean, that's how really social media is moving things around.
Yeah.
So, one's loss is someone's gain,
right.
someone's gain is someone's loss.
Yeah.
Okay. And one thing I want to understand is that in today's time, there are so many big celebrities getting into the restaurant business, right? There are so many hotels or restaurants out there started by the celebs. So what is that one insight that or what's the reason you think that they are all getting into this business of restaurant despite knowing it's a very big and very expensive bet?
I wasn't able to hear you very clearly, Jay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Yeah, I was just saying there are so many restaurants out there opened by a lot of celebrities, right? Across
Yeah.
different spectrum. What do
Yes.
you think is that reason that everybody is trying to be in the business of restaurant, despite knowing it's a the odds of being successful are very low in
Yeah.
this.
Well, I learned it from one of there is a one of our very close customers and a very good friend. He runs around 70 shops here in Dubai.
Hmm.
He says the best thing about this business is you have cash coming in every day.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
people will stop doing everything else, but they will not stop eating. So
Hmm.
I mean, one is it's a statement for the elite. They are going there, not eating much, but it's more of a conversation table for them, wherein they
Hmm.
are going to these fancy, nice looking restaurants. It's more about networking. These places, which
Hmm.
are expensive, are not
Hmm.
about eating the best of the best food,
Hmm.
but is more about networking with the elite.
Hmm.
People are going there in expectation to bump into someone more elite
Ah.
to grow their network, and
Hmm.
that's the pull entirely driving spending there. So if you are an entrepreneur or you are in the journey of being an entrepreneur, I would do it. I am shameless and I walk into people and I say hi, hello, how are you.
Hmm.
So that's an opportunity you would not get at any organized meeting, anything like planned, etc. I've done crazy things like flying onto a country because someone I know is on that flight,
Oh.
and met him on the flight and had a conversation. So you do those things.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard
Right.
other people telling me something similar, but I think yeah, that's right. There's constant money coming in day in, day out, right? So I think that'll be the motivation factor. I think if you, in today's time, if you ask major techies at least, what do they want to do when they retire? Everybody has a very common answer these days. They want to open a cafe when they retire.
Because the youth is spending their money there, na. So what we have
Hmm.
done is our parents have taken care of our houses,
Hmm.
basic necessities. We
Yeah.
are improving the lifestyle for our next generation. So for
Hmm.
them, the spending power is there. They don't have a lot of fixed regime like we had. Ki
Hmm.
school hai, you have to go to school, you have to go to college, these many hours, etc. Now everything is online, flexible.
Hmm.
There is no, you don't have to bunk a class, etc. So I think they are kids are trying to Gen Z is spending a lot of time in cafes,
Hmm.
majority of the time. So I think it's where the youth is, and everyone wants to
Hmm.
invest in the youth.
Hmm.
So everyone knows
Fair.
that it will not die. Youth is
Hmm.
the population. I think, if I remember stats correctly, is quite in a higher side where the youth is there today.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
consumption is how much ever you supply, let's say for buildings.
Hmm.
It is the same in restaurants. How much ever you open, there are people to eat.
Hmm.
You're always in
Yeah.
a queue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. True.
that's an you cannot go wrong. If you do it right, you cannot go wrong.
Yeah. So, because we're in the continuation of people wanting to open restaurants and be in the HORECA industry, Ritwij, according to you, what are the top three skill sets a person should possess in order to be successful in this industry? Be it an entrepreneur or be it like a employee to the organization. Top three skill sets according to you.
I would say a good observer or attention to details is paramount,
Hmm. Hmm.
because sorry,
No, no, carry on.
yeah. So
Hmm.
observation, attention to details,
Hmm.
street smart
Hmm.
is very important.
Hmm.
And last but foremost is innovative. I would
Hmm.
say he has to be innovative around his approach and
Hmm.
product and offerings, etc. So
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
he is having a good eye to details, he's street smart in terms of where to spend, where to save, etc.
Hmm.
And if he's continuously innovating, I
Hmm.
think those three are key for this industry
Hmm.
across. I mean, if you run a restaurant, cafe, etc., plus you're on the supply side of it. If we have, let's say, I'm on the supply side of the business. So for us, if we are knowing when to increase prices, when to reduce prices, depending on the
Hmm.
market trend, or
Hmm.
for example, we keep innovating and bringing in new products that the consumer
Hmm.
wants.
Hmm.
So that is also very important for the business to be sustainable and go along.
Noted.
And one question I was just thinking, how have food delivery changed? Because food delivery has increased revenue for certain restaurants in certain places, right? So how food delivery is playing a important part right now in the HORECA space overall?
I think food delivery is changing the game across, not only HORECA, but it is in lifestyles. I would say now there are restaurants that are working just out of delivery, 70 to
Yeah.
80%,
Cloud
and
kitchens. Yeah.
20% dine-in.
Hmm.
They are saying no, we don't get dine-ins now because everyone is so lazy to come in, who looks for parking and then park and walk and come, etc.
Hmm.
So I would say 70% driven by food delivery aggregators.
Hmm.
Let
Hmm.
it be for the likes of here, it is Talaba, before it was Zomato, but which got acquired by
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Careem, Deliveroo, etc. There are so many promotions, there are so many lucrative offers that they are offering, which you would not
Hmm.
get at the restaurant. So
Hmm.
it is more about convenience
Mm.
right now, and
Yeah.
people are lazy like me. I order in maybe in a week 4 times. The restaurant is
Hmm.
opposite me, but I'm still ordering. I don't know why.
It's just convenience, no? You have it at the fingertips, so you're just doing it. It's convenience over anything else. And of course, we're
Yeah,
lazy.
it's
We're turning
convenience.
lazy.
It is convenience. Yes, absolutely.
I think it's also not just convenience, but I think, as you said, right, offers is also pretty much interesting part. Because if I'm gonna get at my doorstep at a cheaper price, it makes sense for me also to like घर पे ही मंगवाते हैं, rather than going
Hmm.
out and doing all the hassle. So
Yeah.
this is also a very big. There's a reason behind consumer behavior change is also the discounting, right? There's a very big discounting on the food delivery apps, which you will not get otherwise. So it's a combination of bunch of things.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get you addicted. Once you have the initial
Yeah,
discounts, then
Yeah.
you are
Very true.
used to it.
Super true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
Then they are taking
Yeah.
the
You
7 dirhams
just.
and the 10 rupees per delivery. That
Yeah. And then you're just
was,
letting them do it, right? अब आदत हो चुकी है. Now you're addicted to it.
yes, yes.
So I think we've almost exceeded what our normal pod size is. But let's still kind of take one last question and then call it a day if we all are okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ritvij, if somebody is new to this industry or in general, say, wants to switch within the industry, what, according to you, are the top platforms for searching jobs for this sector, or is it network play?
Uh, HORECA, specifically restaurant industry, works a lot on referencing. I
Hmm.
mean, though you are being shortlisted, or let's say LinkedIn is playing a pivotal role in hiring today,
Hmm.
but I would say referencing and networking is the highest
Hmm.
in this network, because if you are a chef or you are an F&B guy, etc., then there are a lot of
Hmm.
headhunters specializing in this space.
Hmm.
So there are a very specific niche headhunters who
Hmm.
are going into details of this profiles.
Hmm.
Other platforms are there, but we've always gone through recruitment companies, and there's no online platform per
Hmm.
se. There is very few of
Hmm.
them for this domain specifically,
Hmm.
but LinkedIn is quite a bit overtaking all the other platforms at the
Hmm.
moment.
Fair enough. So I think that gets us to the end of the session for today. Ritvij, I think it was just free flowing, right? Matlab, we'd actually prepared some different questions when we came into this conversation, but as we were speaking to you, it naturally just came to us, कि अरे हाँ, what about that? What about this?
It's
The
fine.
thing is
It's fine.
just been excellent talking to you as always. Your energy is always infectious. And thank you so much for joining us today. Means a lot.
Thank you
And
guys. It
keep
was a pleasure
keep
talking.
growing, keep making us proud as you grow in this
Growing
journey.
or growing
Keep
fat or growing?
We don't do fat shaming. We don't do fat shaming on this channel. We mean on your career aspects. I'm
I was
hoping to see
joking.
you
I was
start a
joking.
business soon. We'll be super
Uh,
excited to see that
Piyusha is
journey
doing
as
that.
well.
I'm supporting with her. Let
No,
her be
but
successful.
yeah, but that's also equally important, right? When in two partners, one of the partner is on an entrepreneurial journey, it's equally important that the other partner is supporting well. So I think you all are
Yes,
giving that very good example to the world that this is how you will be able to stabilize monetary wise as well, and mental peace like wise as
it's
well
very
for both the
important.
partners.
It's very
Yeah,
important. Otherwise, it disturbs your personal balance in life,
yeah,
and
hundred
that's
percent.
not what we want. Yeah.
Yeah,
So let her
great.
be stable, and then we will take a jump. Let's see. Maybe,
I'm
inshallah.
waiting. I'm waiting for you also to start once she's stable.
Yeah, sure.
Great. So once again,
Thank you, guys.
thanking everybody who's kind of joined us. We really appreciate that each time you all have come and showed your love towards the podcast. Keep sharing and blessing us with your love. Meanwhile, we'll be back with another episode soon. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Krishna.
much, guys.
Take care.